much mythology, part fantasy, a little cartoonish, heavily derivative. Trying too hard to be noir gothic, but sitting somewhere between a hero movie and a video game. One thing is clear, audiences are not impressed. The trailer of 2023 release Agni Adipurush has created a storm on social media. The film based on Lord Ram unites the talents of Prabhas of Bahubali fame and Om Raut, who directed Ajay Devgan starrer Tanaji the Unsung Warrior, the biggest Indian box office hit of 2020. But if early looks are anything to go by, the movie teaser is leaving people not just disappointed but actually aghast. The biggest issue people are raising is with Ravan's look. He is played by Saif Ali Khan in the movie. The bearded, very Islamic look is not impressing many. Ravan is also sporting a very razor-sharp, ultra-modern haircut, which was pointed out by many. Not to forget, in this movie's Ravan's religious markers are also not depicted properly, including the tilak or the tripund on his forehead, and people are not happy about that either. Then there is the depiction of Hanuman. The teaser shockingly shows him wearing leather. In fact, the same has been pointed out about Lord Ram himself. Look of the Vanar Sena is also being criticized. It's more ape than monkey and highly lifted from the Planet of the Apes franchise. Finally, blatant misrepresentation of the epic and the characters itself. For example, Ravan's chariot has been replaced by a demon slash bad slash bird, whatever you want to call it. You, of course, portrayed the iconic Sita character that we all remember. Today, when this movie is coming out based on Ramayan, based on Lord Ram's life, there is a Sita, of course, that is also played by a character, by an actor. What do you make of the criticism that is coming the way of this movie?
I really think that we should wait for the movie to come. And we really cannot jump to conclusion as to what it is. And like I said, that because of technology, possibly they're trying to mix the East and the West, turn the Ramayan into GOT and, Hunger Games and everything put together because they want to advance into more of VFX and, make it one of those elite kind of a movie. These are not the subjects that you can create with East and West influence. You need to keep it authentic. You need to keep it the Treta Yuga, because that's where it was. Like GOT was in those era where they've shown that era, where they were honest about the period.
Hindus have become very sensitive and very skeptical of most of the Mumbai filmmakers. That has been due to long years of looking at the way Hindus have been misrepresented, abused, or even put in a wrong way. That has led to this kind of very, very, very sensitive reaction to anything that they see on the screen.
When you utter the word Ram, or when you utter the word Ravan, or even Jesus Christ, Sant Kabir, Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj, there is a certain image that comes to your mind. Now, we have grown up with that image in our mind, and it is very difficult for us to interpret anything beyond what the popular imagery is.
So if it really is Islamic, when did a Muhammad Ghori or when did a, Mahmud Ghazni started wearing a tripund on their forehead, a tilak on their forehead? When did they start worshipping, a shivling? So let's not be juvenile in our comments, Yes, I understand that certain creative liberties have been taken, but let's also not forget that he is a national award-winning filmmaker like Om Raut, who gave us a wonderful film like Tanaji. He's somebody who puts years and years of research.
Days after the release of Mani Ratnam's movie Ponniyin Selvan, that depicts the early life of Chola Emperor Raja Raja Chola, a major controversy has erupted. First, it was national award-winning film director Vetty Maran, who said that Raja Raja Cholan was not a Hindu king and cinema has saffronized him. Now, veteran actor Kamal Haasan has also backed this statement after a special screening of this movie. Kamal said that during the time of Raja Raja, the concept of the Hindu religion was non-existent and it was the term coined by the British for their convenience. Now, the term Hindu was primarily used by outsiders, foreigners west to us, to refer to Indians as per geography. Eventually, the term Hindu, though, began to denote religion, but also vast culture that was pertaining to India. So technically, one could argue the word Hindu didn't exist under the Cholas. Maybe it became popular only after the 16th century. But Cholas were indeed practitioners of Hinduism. Their faith, beliefs, practices, architecture, their temples are all symbolic of that.
Cholas, their tutelary deity was the Nataraja at Chidambaram. The two portraits that we have in the Brihadishwara temple that show Rajaraja, both of them show him paying obeisance to the image of Nataraja. Their coronation was done there. The land measure that Rajaraja used was named after Adavallam. Among the metallic images that were given to the temple, there are totally 66 of them. 23 of them are of Hindu gods. In fact, Pullayar or Ganesha seems to be his favorite. Two of them are actually made out of gold. And at the end of it, the 66th image is actually given by his guru, and that's Guru Ishana Shiva Pandita, and the images of the guru himself.
See, my grandfather had the certificate, or in the registered learned certificate, we had been mentioned as Siva Madam, not Hindu, not Christian, Muslim, or whatever. This Hinduism or the Hindu name had been given to us by Britishers. That is a well-known fact.
Cholas actually followed all the six. They claim that they are the Surya Vanshis. They come from the Raghukulam. And then they even claim 38th king of their they are the descendants of Sri Rama. The second is they claim that they are that's a Surya Vanshi is a Shauram, which is one of the sect. The second is they claim that Vishnu was their first ever king, so which is they are Vaishnavites. They actually practice Shaivism. They built so many temples for Shiva. Even Rajaraja Chola is called the Shiva Pada Sekaran. So they are Shaivites. Their family deity is goddess Durga, so they are Shaktam. And their war cry is always Vetrivel Veeravel. So they have become to Kaumaram. And they started all their events or anything that they took an initiative, started with worshipping Lord Ganapati. So they are Ganapatyam. All the six sects of modern day Hinduism that we are calling, Cholas were actually living that on a day in and day out.
Now, actor Richard Chadda created a rather ugly controversy on social media today with a tweet on Galwan clash. In response to a tweet that mentioned the statement of a senior Indian Army personnel that the Indian Army is ready to take back Pakistan-occupied Kashmir on the orders of the Indian government, Richard Chadda made a rather insensitive, mocking reference to Galwan, saying, and I quote, "Galwan says hi." This tweet has drawn fire both on and off social media. Politicians, army veterans, fellow celebrities have all called it distasteful and insulting. She wrote that offending anyone was not her intention, and the three words that she has written that have been dragged into this controversy, she didn't mean it. She even added that her grandfather was a lieutenant colonel who took a bullet in the leg in the Indo-China war. So army is in her blood.
I'm not sure what Richa has, apologized for. If army was in her blood, I would say the tweet made by her was out of sheer ignorance and stupidity. And there's an idiom, they say fish is caught when it opens the mouth. So the ignorance is on full display. I think it's an insult to the martyrdom of all the soldiers, officers who have laid down their life protecting our frontiers. It is not done.
See, I really don't understand why everyone and in the debates also people are giving so much importance to Richard Chadda's tweet. We are living in a democratic country, and we have discussed it before also many times in the debate that yes, we all have right to freedom of expression, and it totally depends upon an individual how an individual wants to express, and especially on a social media platform.
Her remark obviously is insulting to the martyrdom of the 20 brave hearts who laid down their lives in 2020. They were not there for a picnic. They were there to ensure that people like Richa Chadda and all of us can sleep peacefully and can carry on with our profession, which Richa is continuing. Second connotation of her remark, which is even more serious in my view, she said so in response to a statement by the Northern Army Commander General Dwivedi that we are ready to capture POK once the government gives a nod. So she was trying to mock his remarks, coming from a very senior, very responsible army officer who should know what he is doing and what he is saying.
IFFI international jury head Nadav Lapid's remarks on the film The Kashmir Files have evoked massive reactions through the day. While speaking at the closing ceremony of the 53rd International Film Festival of India, the Israeli filmmaker called the film a propaganda and a vulgar movie.
You have seen the film. Will you ever call it vulgar and propaganda? I'm just asking you, just generally. Anything? Will you say anything? Somebody invites you to your house. Will you say this was vulgar dress you were wearing, even if it was vulgar? You don't say such things. You don't like a film. First of all, his job as a jury member is to say whatever he wanted to say. He wanted to say that I did not like the film. He could have said, I don't like the film, I don't like the theme, I don't like the costumes, I don't like the lighting. But to call it vulgar propaganda, he has no right. Only you have to be a vulgar person to think like that. For 32 years, they kept the genocide hidden, the tragedy of genocide of Kashmiri Hindus hidden, because it did not suit them, because it did not suit their narrative. One single line, one single scene, one single shot, if they can come out with and say this was about propaganda.
Do you sometimes feel tired with these attacks on the Kashmir Files, just defending this movie day in, day out?
No, that's what they want me to do. They want me to get tired. I will never get tired, because I have the same intensity of energy when I'm talking about something truthful and something so hurtful as people who must have fought for the independence of this country. It took us 200 years to do that, because they believed in what they were doing. I believe in the sadness. I have gone through the sadness. So, but they think that I will ultimately, or Vivek will ultimately get tired of it and sort of say, okay, or become frightened that the onslaught of people, or suddenly people are calling me Anupam Kher is like this and Anupam Kher is like this, and I will suddenly hide behind a protected wall. No, I will not, because the more they will attack my tragedy or my people's tragedy, the more I will attack them for their insensitivity.
I often say, and you can see this on my Twitter handle so that you'll understand where I'm coming from, that the easiest way to scare somebody from listening to somebody just with an open mind is to label them. And when you use words like propaganda, that's a label. That's not a criticism. That's
Brilliant.
a label. So, Mr. Kher.
So wonderfully said. Thank you.